Hello and welcome to the 8th part of my blind playthrough of Pillar of Eternity Definitive Edition. In the last episode we slowly entered the Endless Path dungeon and we had few interesting and difficult fights, at least for my party composition. So plan for today is going around few areas in Defiance Bay area and then maybe to go to Raedric Halls before entering the big city. So let's start and continue. Enjoy. So we are fresh, but unfortunately I made a mistake of not preparing one spell which I wanted instead of this one. Never mind. It was this. Which is needed for disrupting the spellcasters. And I hope I don't forget to prepare it next time. Here you can see my reputations.
Certainly.
As you can see, we already own the Sednua stronghold and we invested a little bit into restoration and we made some money underneath, so let's check if we have something worth doing. It's either the main keep or a little bit here. So I will... It's too expensive. This one is good, but it's very expensive. I think the best price would be this one. No. Yes, let's go for it. We have 3 days and let's visit some more areas and maybe find some more companions and exchange moonshine. So here is Raedric's hold. which we will go later. But first, let's check the wooden planes. And it's 18 hours. Okay, let's do the usual stuff.
Yes?
And explore the area first. We have the monuments. Forest lurker. Okay.
Hey.
These were a little bit overpowered in few areas. Let's see how my party is strong now.
Well,
Hey.
I really don't know how to cast these spells on the third one. They just... Oh, much better. So, our first encounter ended almost in death. Before and now, with bigger levels, it's much better.
Laying low.
They are not so tough anymore.
Following your lead.
Let's use it this way. No. This.
Oh?
And another forest lurker.
Hey. Kinda stuck over here.
Let us end this! That's it!
No, he's already down.
Brave thou Philothili.
Kana has very short range for his
Certainly,
damage
I shall
spells,
be
so
discreet.
it's not very useful yet.
Keeping an eye out.
Oh, Stonewall Gorge, okay. Another new area. Nothing special.
Let's see what lies this way.
And another lurker.
Hey. This thing isn't doing the job.
And let's do this.
Brave thou.
That's it!
I'll let another shot and let's do this.
To whispers and shadows.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Nothing to the south yet. And another forest lurker.
Hey.
Following your lead. Brave Dalgilad.
Yes?
Laying low.
Other slowly gets kicked. So far nothing useful, just few forest lurkers. And few flowers. And troll. At least this is a little bit easier than.
Hey.
Ah, this is something new. Where are you? Come here.
What is it?
And yell a little bit. And you stun a little bit. And you just Pegra. It's down. And let's finish this first roll, and I think you will be better with this one. And this one.
So much for you.
Where are you guys? Do this. And you another stun. this.
Following your sacrifice!
Heal yourself. Much better.
Certainly. Shh.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Another flower. I'm really curious if there is some quest here as well, or it's just empty area with some fights. And Sagani. This is another NPC. So what we do is this. And we will exchange moonshine for Sagani.
Yes?
Hush, Itumak. We'll just wait a little longer.
A dwarven woman dressed in skins and hides leans against the road marker. Her face is turned down, her eyes darkened by a thick stripe of face paint. She's sharpening a bone arrowhead with a scrimshaw-handled knife. Her attention, however, is focused on a bear figurine between her feet. A large white-furred fox standing at her heels looks up at your approach.
Easy, Itumak. It's not him.
Who are you waiting for?
Short version? I'm looking for a very, very old friend. I'm not sure what skin he's wearing now, but I'll know him when I see him.
Standing around here is probably not the most productive things you could do. Perhaps not, but running around all over the Dirwood hasn't done much good so far. The fox next to her yawns. Your friend is supposed to meet you here?
That's what I heard. Of course, the man who told me so was carrying a staff he claimed was made from dragon bone, but I know Whitewood when I see it. That should have been my first clue, but I had to try something.
Try something? What exactly are you talking about?
The long version. Here we go. I'm from an island to the far south called Nasitok. I came here looking for a village elder, a man we knew as Persok. I'm a hunter back home, so tracking someone wouldn't normally be a problem. But Persok's trail is cold, to say the least.
Why can't you find him? There can't be that many of your people in the Dirwood. He died when I was still a young girl. Forgot to mention that part, did I? I'm looking for his latest reincarnation, which could be anyone. How long have you been looking for Persak? Her painted brows lower and her compact muscular frame sags for just an instant. 5 years. So you've been searching 5 years for a stranger you barely remember? Who could who could be anyone now?
That about sums it up.
Uh, then actually I know how you feel.
Then you have my sympathies. Hopefully, you've got a better lead than I do.
She looks at the Adra figurine in the dirt. How does that statue figure into it? She dusts the figurine on her trousers and raises it in her small, flat palm. It's carved in the shape of a bear, smooth and round. The polished Adra is worn to a dull mat. Along its arched back and ovoid haunches, a soft glow emanates from within.
Cute, isn't it? It belonged to Persak. Before he returned to the wheel, he left a splinter of his soul in it. Something to help us find him later.
As she holds it out to you, you feel wisps of sensation. Not quite memories, but traces of someone.
When I left Nasitak, it was completely dark inside. But as I've gotten closer to Persak, it's glowed steadily brighter. Since I've reached the Deerwood, however, it's gotten hard to read. Some days it flickers and goes dark. Others it shines nice and bright, for a few hours. But most of the time it looks just like this.
Persok could be farther away still. She shakes her head. I spent a year circling the area, thinking the same thing. Got as far south as Ozaya, and as far north as Fleetbreaker Castle, when I realized the figurine was going dark again. Same thing happened when I trekked around the White Marsh and circled the base to the west. Maybe it's broken? She laughs slowly. Even Scan couldn't be that cruel. It's working. I am not sure of it. It's just not as precise as I'd hope. Even so, she squints at it, looking doubtful. What will you do now?
I can tell you what I won't do again. Rely on miracle peddlers. It was some so-called watcher who sent me to this crossroads in the middle of nowhere in the first place. I was on my way out of the Balmarsh when I heard talk of a traveling mystic who could supposedly see souls. I knew it was a long shot, but what did I have to lose? I went to see this fellow and gave him the Audra figurine. He made a big show of moaning and rolling his eyes, and after I'd given him 5 golden dukes to lift the shroud, he told me to seek the crossroads in the field between the wolf's lair and the twining trees.
What's the wolf's lair? Defiance Bay. Locals call the current Duke Wolfgreen. Sounds like he'd be fun to drink with. Is Twining Trees a real place? He meant Twin Elms. I haven't been there yet, but I hear they have some especially memorable trees.
He thought he was being vague, but I know the area well enough to recognize that he meant this place, right between Defiance Bay and Twin Elms. I had a bad taste in my mouth, but my coin was spent and I'd already left an arrow in his knapsack as a friendly warning. Told him I'd come back and leave him with another if it turned out he was giving me the runaround. I've been here a week now. Guess he had the last laugh after all.
May I see the figurine?
Why?
Please?
Fine. But if you try to run, just remember that my arrows are faster.
She hands you the figurine, her chapped knuckles grazing your hand. She watches you examine it, wary but curious. You raise the Aldra bear, turning it in the light as your eyes catch a tiny glinting scratch. The scenery around you melts away. You're standing on a cliff overlooking the water, seeing through eyes that aren't your own. You catch the musk of beasts amidst the fresh scent of vegetation, and your heart beats a little faster. You'll have to watch your step up here. You look down just long enough to see the sharp, pale cliffs drop into the water hundreds of feet below. I see a vision of cliffs high over the water. Does that sound familiar? Your question is greeted with shrugs and silence. I've got it. He's standing on a cliff.
What are you talking about? What just happened?
I'm a real watcher. She blinks at you a few times, calculating. I know this sounds strange, but it's the truth.
You realize I've got no coin to give you, even if I did believe you.
Come with me. I've got other businesses in the area, and we can look for the Bersuk on the way. Once a character has been dismissed from the party, they will return to either the Black Hound Inn in Gilded Way or to your stronghold, if you acquired it.
Watch your back.
We are all level 5, except The Long Hunt, a quest of Sagani. When I examined the bear statuette, I felt as though I were standing atop cliffs, overlooking the water. Perzok, whoever he is now, must be here. So let's check her out. Musag hunting bow. Fine dagger and fine hatchet. Light armor, fine hide armor. She goes from far away, so nothing else, nothing else.
Hmm?
Other got
Oh?
And what does the flame reveal?
Certainly.
north to Kednua, west to Defiance Bay.
Ready, Watcher.
Let's talk to her first. Oh no, just do some
Hmm?
exploring and then talk to her, and then a little bit to Durance.
I'll see what I can find.
The cliff over the water. This might be it, or this might be it. We'll see later. But I think after this, place I go to Raedric's Halt to finish his quest and save Gilded Veil a little bit. Nothing here? Wine Drix swirl around the bottom of the clay jar. Fine mace. Let's use it this way.
Hmm?
Strange that no one is around the carriage.
Sharp eyes and keen ears.
Oh! Finally, a Searing Falls. And Edelvan Bridge has been open as well. A house in middle of nowhere. A sparrow's nest is tucked between two angled slats. Let's see if we can get inside. Looks like no.
Margren's fire casts light in dark places.
I shall be discreet.
Someone is not stealthy enough. Too bad the area is mostly empty. At least we got the new companion. And a lion? who probably smelled us.
That's it!
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Sharp eyes and keen ears.
Let's see what we can find up the cliff. Another lion. Three lions, okay.
Hey.
Let's stun them.
Following your...
And kill him fast before he dies.
Hmm?
Laying low.
What's this? Waves are roughly chiseled in the stone. They grasp at Andra's below the moon like curling fingers. Hearth Harvest. This way.
Let's see what lies this way.
Nice and quiet.
Another Becker NPC. Tucked under the flap of this bedroll is a relic of some kind, a small conch shell strung with seaweed. Everything okay. So... where to go? Let's try to go to Edelman Bridge for a moment.
Hello? Hello?
If you need an inn for the night, Goose and Fox has the softest beds and the best ale. We need more reasonable people in Defiance Bay. Well, a whole party of reasonable people is on the way. It takes a smooth tongue to solve problems, doesn't it? These days it's rare to find folks who do so much for strangers. Have you been to Expedition Hall yet? You might find your type of work there. The Crucible Knights have been warning everyone to stay out of catacombs. They are not safe anymore. If you're a scholar, you'll want to visit the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Business around here took a hit when Stalwart's mines dried up. But I will not go inside yet. The Copperline Marketplace has everything you could ever want to buy. Welcome to Defiance Bay, but watch yourself in our city, understand? What is it? I'm looking for the Temple of Wodika. Huh, if you say so. It's in First Fires, you just west of Crucible Keep. I've asked around and learned that temple can be found in a district called First Fires.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Good day to you.
What can I do for you? What can you tell me about Defiance Bay? Sorry, but I don't have time right now. But it sounds like the dozen crackpot row 1 is stirring up trouble again. He jerks his head at the gate. He'd be all too happy to give you a rundown of the city, literally flavored with dozens propaganda, of course. You seem to be on edge. What's the problem? Thousands of them, truth be told. We've got refugees coming in from all parts under some misguided notion that things are actually better here, that the legacy somehow passed over us. So they show up with no prospects, a little money, and just end up making a worse mess of things. He looks you up and down. No offense. He grunts, and good luck to you.
Hello? Hello?
Copperline. Okay. Let's go to Searing Falls or back to Kednoa and then Raedric's Halt. Let's go to Searing Falls first. It's 12 hours. No. Get no. And take a nap.
It's very nice. We're not sleeping here, are we?
Where is the British warrior? In 24 hours. Well, this one needs to be finished and then maybe we can... You must build the barracks to the recruit hirelings. Okay, barracks. 2000, oh god. Okay, let's talk with Sagani first.
Ready, Watcher.
Sagani drives up beside you, her fox following at her heels, and takes a seat next to you.
Even if you are putting one over on me, it's nice to have a hunting party again.
You've been searching for Persok for 5 years?
5 years for me. Must be 30-something for Ichimak.
Hearing its name, the fox looks up. That must be exhausting.
It's been a long hunt. A long time away from my family. Before, I'd crossed the tundra of Nasitok following caribou herds. I didn't want to leave Kalu and our children, but I was eager to visit lands my people rarely do. But 5 years without finding him. It's like 2 hours of necking. I'm ready to be done with it.
Why do you have to find Persok?
Soul recovery is an old village tradition. We call it the Tarnek Ilitsak. Once in a generation, we seek the soul of a much respected and long dead village elder. We tell him what's changed in the village, how people remember him. The only other Tarnek Ilitsak during my lifetime happened when I was a girl, not long after Persok died. We feasted on blubber and fermented milk for a week, and we honored the chosen huntress as a hero. Then she left, and we returned to our duties. We still sang her name to the skies during festival season, but we otherwise didn't speak of her.
I'm sure your village still remembers you. Sagani. You're kind to say it so, but I am not so fragile that I need my name chanted in the meeting halls.
It's not being forgotten by my village that troubles me. But sometimes I wonder how my husband and children remember me, if they think of me often.
Returning to them is what matters. She nods, both practical and true.
Still, there's no point in dwelling on it. More often I find myself wondering whether Persok will remember us. You claim to see souls. What do you think? Do you remember your past lives?
No, not clearly. I figured most people don't anyway. I suppose that's why I'm supposed to remind Persok of what he left behind in our village. Has your village changed much since that time?
Masuk is probably much the same as it was 100 years ago. We live between tundra and frozen forests, and the land takes as much as it gives. But our hardships bring us together. And the elders truly unite us. They keep the stories of past generations, and they guide us from season to season, through good years and lean.
Itumak brushes against her hip, and she scratches his head. Recently, there have been a lot of good years. My aunt says we have. My aunts say we've had fewer clashes with neighboring villages thanks to the hunting territories that Persok helped establish. In bad years, we rely on trade with the merchants that pass our shores. We exchange walrus tusks and seal pelts for grains that last us the hard winters. Persok brokered a lot of those agreements too. She holds up the bear figurine. He got this from one of the Amawa ships that used to trade with us. It sounds like Perso did a lot for your people.
That's what I'm supposed to remind him.
Sounds like you're on a hunt of your own, though. You feeling the thrill of the chase or ready for this to be over? It's too early to tell. She nods. Fair enough. She rises and stretches, looking around. Might as well keep moving while we've got some daylight. I'd like to talk some more. What's on your mind? I want to know about your homeland. Nasitek? She rubs her nose with one broad finger. It's a big island in the middle of that far archipelago, just off the coast of the white advanced tundra, mostly with a few snow-covered forests in the warmer parts. Most of us live in fairly small villages, by standards here anyway. Mine is Masuk. What's Nasitag like? She shrugs. Cold, but not as cold as the white advance. The few kids who visit Nasitag find it sparse, but there's plenty to sustain a village if you know where to look. She ticks the item off on her closed fingers. We get hides and meat from caribou, seals, and small whales. Bone too, which makes fine bows and arrowheads. Community is important to us. We survive or perish together. So everything we do, every week-long hunt, every wall we build is for the village. Who lives there? Mostly Enutanic, like me. People here call us Boreal Dwarves. Migratory clans of Glamfelan from the Wide Advance sometimes spend the colder seasons on Asitak, but we don't see too many other foreigners who can tolerate the elements. She pats a weather-bronzed arm. Those of us born in Asitak like to say we have a hardy layer of sealskin just beneath our flesh. Tell me more about Masuk. We're a tundra village. To an outsider's eyes, we're probably not much different from the others around us, but our elders have stories that go back hundreds of years. Epic hunts, battles with neighboring villages, sojourn across the sea. We share these stories too. That's all. She nods. What's on your mind? What do you do back in Nasitek? I'm a long hunter. I stalk game across the tundra with some of the other wives. We usually hunt caribou and oxen, but we find hares and birds too. It's a good and respected position. To see so much of Nasitag in the company of my friends and sisters, this is one of the pleasure of life in Masuk. Tell me about Itumak. She scratches behind his ear. A good hunter, but not much of a talker, and that's been fine by me. When we hunt in Nasitak, we almost always bring our foxes with us. They help us track and flush game, and they're fearless defenders against bears and snow leopards. Clever Itumak has always been my favorite. He wags his brushy tail. You have a family back in your village. Of course. We'd never seen a woman who hasn't had the chance to find a mate and have a couple children of her own. What's your husband like? Kalu's a good man. He raised our children well and built us a strong home while I've been away on hunts. Our parents chose us for one another when we were still young. Not the way things are usually done here, but ours choose well. She smiles. We came to appreciate each other as helmmates first, then friends, and then, well, you know how it goes. There is a hint of a blush below the stripe of face paint. Tell me about your children. I've had five: Yakona, Estuya, Najua, Anik, and Malak. Estuya and Anik died young in long, lean winters. Malak was barely talking when I left. She scrapes a thumbnail along the handle of her hunting knife. He probably won't know me when I get home. She frowns her hand falling from the knife. Even in Nasitak, I spend most of my time on the hunt. But then, it's easy to relish the hunt when I know I'll see my family enjoying our kill. And you worried your husband will? Are you kidding? I'm the best shot in Masuk. That's all. I'm curious about your search for Persok. I'll tell you what I can, but Tarnek, Litzak, pilgrimages like mine are rare. Why do your people have this tradition? She pulls the bear figurine out of her satchel, running a finger along its smooth back. It's something we've always done. The elder says it was first The elder says it was first begun to forge ties with other villages. It's hard to fight over caribou herds when you see someone you respect on the other side. We also believe that passing our history on in this way keeps us stronger, and it helps them. The elders, I mean, return to us after they've been away from us for a generation or more. They can use the experiences they've accumulated over lifetimes to lead the village again. Are elders usually reborn so far from the village? Most often, they return somewhere in Nasitak, a member of another village, or they reborn among the Glamfellen of the White Deadlands. Even so, it's hard to say what's usual. A mischievous grin crinkles her eyes. When my grandfather was a boy, the elder came back as a polar bear. The huntress chosen for the task had to recite half of her village deeds while running from the beast. Her expression sobers. Even so, there have been journeys longer than mine, some last decades, and the huntress doesn't always return. And what happens when the elder is found? That depends on the man or woman he's become. It's easiest when the rebirth happens in another village of Anasitek, where the tradition is understood. Even in the White Deadlands and the southern island of the Deadfire Archipelago, people understand this custom and will welcome you politely enough, even if their selves do not remember. She shrugs, but sometimes you find someone whose soul has no memory of the village, and you have to tell him of the people who remember him still. As disheartening as this is, you hope that the reminder will aid his soul in a future life. How did you get picked to come search for Persok? She grins. Another old village tradition. The elders watched the caribou migrations and cast seal bones to determine the right time for this journey. When the omens were determined, all the village wives drew shark teeth. We're the ones that go away to hunt and fish, so we're the best suited for a task like this. Anyway, I grabbed the little tooth. She frowns. Traveling so far is a rare privilege for us, but as you can see, the journey can be unpredictable. What are your thoughts on my search? She frowns. Helps to know what you're hunting. You've got a lot of tracks to follow. But where they'll lead is anyone's guess. Let's move on.
Certainly.
Ready, Watcher.
Did I forget to ask her something? No.
Oh?
What?
Also, let's try to talk to Durance if he has something new to say. Does something ail you? I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
I wanted to ask about the region and its history. Durance grunts. I wanted to know more about the salvation. When the Nemesis tries to place animal souls into children, Durance knows. If you ever needed proof of their trespasses, that alone speaks to it. Waidwen may have taken a god, but to put an animal inside the vessel of a child? Durance shakes his head. His face wrinkles in disgust. Animancy is madness. Wars. It took too long to see the crime for what it was. I heard of the first tales. The Orlan suffering first. He chuckles ruefully, then sneers, like they always do. Animals within animals, compounding the madness. I'd watch your words when speaking of Orlans. Durance glances at you and then snorts. Ah, Orlan's defiance. No, there's something to fear. Lot of good that did you when the slaving was at its peak, and you were all food racks and prone racks for various shit-heeled nobles, Durance sneers. Those days may come again after all. You deserved it. Deserve it? What do you mean? Durance looks at you surprised. Too weak to defend yourselves. You were tested, still are, and you're lacking. Orlan, war isn't going to stop to wait for you to catch up. He frowns as if thinking, no, an Orlan watcher. Maybe get enough of you, then you'll have a chance. But we'll see, won't we? At least I will. Not sure if your eyes will. Too busy looking outward, judging me from your own failings. I wanted to ask you about the region and its history. Durance grunts. Let me ask you about something else.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Tell me about Magran. Oh, you know her. You must. He gives a bitter chuckle, then his tone events out. She is a many-headed bitch. What is your view on Magran?
She's a goddess, as fickle as they come, and with all the failings you'd expect of an empress and a whore. Too many eyes, too many wants, too much to hold on to. That's the failing of a god. More aspects than words to describe her, like most of them. A god with many nations to oversee, only serves to spread herself too thin.
Although flame rarely crosses twice, so perhaps that is the only truth she embraces. Who knows? Gods get greedy. When it comes to fire, fire is a god's hunger. What are her aspects? Durance begins to count on his fingers, chanting it off. War transforms, fire consumes, trials purify, warfare, fire, consuming, purification, and most of all transforming. Trials as well, but all things are put to the rest anyway. A trial can consume, purify, transform. They're all linked, although at its heart is the flame, and the flame is what matters. It is the source of all things. Guess they should have started with that. Any fool around a campfire knows that. Without Flame's fire, we would have made little progress in the dark. To hear some of the inner fires tell it around the hearth and bellows, even in the halls of Ashfall, you'd think that fire brought life to man, and that fire was Magran. Some of the older texts say she rubbed her hands together and they burst into flame, or another god shafted her like a poker. There are different perspectives on her then. He grunts. Mine is only one side among many. Durance frowns, pauses, then his eyes take on a eager gleam. But here's one. I can speak to how the losing side sees her, and that should tell you enough. Let me speak to what an Adrian sees. And what does an Adrian see? The Adrians have a proper, polite translation for her. Excellence in war, tactical discipline, he snorts. That's why they lost the fucking colony, of course. They were properly still quoting that while we had them bent across the decks. All their guns and cannons are fine, but useless when your stuff is cracking light into their skulls, dispensing the red gifts left and right. Durance's fist tightened and he lost. Adrian's called that elevation divine awareness. Those words are as welcome as shit on one's boots, and that's all they took back with them while they were running. He shakes his head. A lesson learned at the wrong time. Almost feel a pang of sympathy for them. Almost. Lesson? What do you mean? The title of a god isn't knowing a god. Adhering to words rather than walking the path, testing yourself in the heat of it. Walk until the words are stripped away and you feel it, burning in your heart. That is the lesson. That adherence, politeness, that pretty adherence to the word of Scripture as they saw it, that burned their ships, scarred them, kept them running throughout the Durwood campaign. He snorts. Divine awareness. There is no true faith in waiting to be tested. The best in battle have already shit themselves plenty. Shit themselves until they're dry and can focus on the killing. Enough about Magran. I have other questions.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Again, tell me about Magran. I fear you may not like the heat by the fire watcher, but if you can bear it, then I will tell you what I know. Does she have any allies?
Some, shaped for hunt and war. Abidan the Golem, Galawain and his beasts. The latter keeps us honest and awake. The other makes the tools by which we punish those who are not.
Abidan? Not surprised you haven't heard. More gods than weeds in a field, and those are only the ones of this lifetime. They come and go, but are always here at the same time. Abidan used to look human. Duran's grants. Got killed, then built a new body for himself. Transformation, with Magran's help. Perhaps she needed her own blacksmith to tend the fires. If so, Abidan serves it. Durance frowns. He is a weapon, a tool, not a god in my mind. Still, the people of Deerwood, the cities, especially hold him dear. So be it. Although, if the reward for hard work and craftsmanship is a body like his, I'll keep my blood and my cock and hips to thrust with it. You also mentioned Galawain. Monster Father, the Great Hound, and as for monsters, this world has quite a bit, and not just the ones on two legs. It's as if he's made monsters slowly to hunt them, to remind men of their place. He's busy making more, I suspect. More monsters than sense, variation upon variation. Huh? What do you mean? His aspects are a confusing bunch, and considering he respects reversals of fortune, especially in beasts, perhaps not so confusing. No reason why Magran and he share a bet in my eyes, even if he does believe in the trial, a filthy Orlan god in many ways, howling and mewling perhaps like they do. They can keep their beasts. I'll take fire and weapons any day. Not all Orlans worship him. Durance glances at you, then snorts. Ah, Orlan defiance, now there's something to fear. A lot of good that did you when the slaving was in its peak and you were all foot racks and brown racks for various shit-heeled nobles. Duran sneers. Those days may come again after all. You deserve it. Just like a human. Big words, little sense. Ah, humans. There's an insult. Duran shifts his fate, and his eyes gleam. Yet you are the ones under our shit-stained heels. At least we humans were allowed to walk on our legs, Orlan. As for you, you only have yourself to blame. You were too weak to defend yourselves. You were tested, still are, and you're lacking. Duran shrugs. Orlan, war isn't going to stop wait for you to catch up. He frowns as if thinking, no, an Orlan watcher maybe get enough of you, then you'll have a chance. But we'll see, won't we? At least I will. Not sure if your eyes will too, busy looking outward, judging me for your own failings. I want to ask you something else about Magran. Stare too long into the fire, you might blind yourself, Watcher. He chuckles. That and touching yourself might do the same. Who are her enemies? Do you have whale's eyes painted on your skin? There's more mysteries than questions, and even a marching force of answers won't placate you. Even soldiers need to let their thoughts settle, just as their priests do.
Yes? Certainly.
And another nap. Now don't forget to change Eloth. This. And Ghost Blades. Petted Cars. This one. A little bit expensive, but okay,
Oh?
let's take a nap.
Certainly.
Fifteen more
Few
hours.
repairs, and this keep will be a sight to see.
I know.
Hmm? Oh?
So, let's go to Raedric's Halt. 1 day and 4 hours. The warrior just left. Too bad. I have reached Raedric's Hold. Lord Raedric waits somewhere within, but making my way inside will not be a simple task. $2,000. No. Let's do the courtyard pool. Oh no, we have more money. Let's do this. The library.
Yes?
Let's see what lies this way.
Those are some high walls, but they don't look secure from here.
Yes?
Hey,
Hmm?
A heavy stench rises from the stagnant waters. Just few eats.
To whispers and shadows.
The guards fixes a glover on you. You have no business here. Lord Raedric is not permitting any visitors, merchants or traveling entertainers, he sneers. Best turn right around. I'm here to see Raedric. Step aside. The guard nods. Are you hard of hearing? He draws his swords. You got one more chance to turn around. The guards inside won't be half so gentle. The guard fixes a glover on you. You have no business here. Lord Raedric is not permitting any visitors, merchants or traveling entertainers. Best turn right around. I'll be leaving then. Goodbye. No.
Brave thou
Get on!
Let's see what lies this way.
Let's find another way, even though they tried to attack me. A heavy stench rises from the stagnant waters. Huh. I missed this one. Let's see if we can use this. The castle's bell towers rise up over the walls. Before you, thick vines have grown over the outer wall, weaving over and between the stones. The vines span nearly the full height of the wall, curling over the parapets. Examine the wall. The overgrown vines look fairly sturdy, though it is unclear whether they would bear a person's weight. Far above, you notice that sections of the parapets has fallen away, presenting a gap in the defenses. Jump to reach the vines. You get a running start of the bank of the moat and leap, aiming for some of the thicker vines. Your handhold sways and there is an ominous cracking sound above, but the vine holds. The tower looms above you. Climb up the vines. The climb up the keep wall is long and wearying. After several moments, only Adair is able to keep at steady pace, the rest lagging behind. But in time, the top of the wall comes within a reach and everyone is able to pull themselves up and over the side. And everyone is a little bit tired. These rickety planks sit precariously over the side of the wall, looking out over the precious drop below. Beneath the scaffolding, vines grow in thick clumps over the weathered stones. Leave it for now. Duelist hat and the rope. What has she on the hat? Nothing. Good. Raedric card. Let's go for it.
I'd say it's time to get a campfire going and let sleep follow. Hello? Hello?
Let's go around a little bit first. There are some footsteps here, so maybe some more enemies upwards. Let's go here.
Hello? Hello?
Another guard. This one alone.
Hey.
Oh, don't get stuck.
Yes?
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
And an archer.
Let us end this! To whispers and shadows.
A priest. Go for him. And knock him down. And you go here.
Stand still!
Feels like I've been tossed around in a snowstorm.
I shall be discreet.
Plate armor. We could use a plate armor. Damage reduction 10. This one.
Certainly.
So, temple armory, courtyard, and to temple storage. I'll go to the storage first, but let's...
Let's see what lies this way.
rope. I have reached Raedric's hold. I found some Baratian ropes. They may help me blend in with the priest on this floor. Okay, so... we need some more ropes. Find Morning Star. Find Mace. Two-handed. What is his strength? 16. Okay. I think I'll end up here. I just equip everyone. With a nice rope. And probably next time we will go through the castle without getting kicked ass. Okay, so that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. And I know this one was a little bit more boring than the previous ones because not much happening in the wilderness. But we're finally at Raedric's hold, so the next time I think there might be some nice fights or diplomacy with fireballs. So, see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe or follow. See you.